this is my next horrible date. So with this one, it was someone that my aunt had, and an aunt that I actually trust quite a lot and thinks she's quite modern and thinks she's kind of really cool for an aunt. She basically sent me a message, like a text message, and she goes, "Hey Trish, are you still single? Because I saw a guy last week and I thought he was really, really nice, and just wondered if you wanted to meet up with him. I can send you a picture, give me your email address." So she sent me a picture of this guy and he kind of looked quite cute. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. Just send me his number and I'll send him a text message saying, "Hi, got your number from my aunt. Do you want to meet up sometime? Well, let me know." So then we met up and we went to London for a drink in a pub. I can't actually remember this guy's name. How bad is that? So we went for a drink after work and I kind of thought we can go for a drink. If it works out, we'll then end up going for dinner. Clearly, needless to say, we didn't get to dinner. We're having a drink and he's like, "So, you know, what do you do for work and stuff?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm an optician. I just qualified." And again, this was like a few years ago, so I just literally qualified. He's like, "Oh, is there still a demand for opticians?" I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't there be?" And he was like, "Oh, because everyone's getting laser treatment done now. So isn't that, surely you should start looking for another job where, you know, where your job's actually going to be there in like 10 years. And I was like, people have laser treatment done, but they still need glasses afterwards. Not necessarily straight afterwards, but they will need glasses eventually. And I said, if they're getting laser treatment done, who's going to check the health of their eyes? So he was like, "Yeah, but surely you're going to lose money, you're not going to make any money." And I was like, okay, let's just stop dissing my career. And then the next thing he asked me is, "So how many properties do you own?" And I was like, whoa, like just calm down. I'm like 22 years old. Like I don't have any properties under my name. I've just finished like university and I've just started like my training year. Like I really don't understand why you're asking me this. And then he goes, "Oh yeah, I've got a couple of properties in London. I've got a flat. I think it's really good to get from the property market and stuff because it's the only thing that's actually going to make us money in the future." And I was like, "Oh, so you're a really positive person." And then he said to me, "How are you finding this whole dating thing?" And I said, "Well, I don't want to say no to people because, you know, I might miss up an opportunity to meet someone that I really, really get on with." He was like, "Oh, I think looking for a girl is like buying a property." And I was like, how the hell do I look like a house or like a piece of land? And then he goes, "Well, you know, you need to look at the location of the girl, you need to check the status and the area that she's in, you need to check the background and the foundation." I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do not compare me to a house. Like, and when he said that, as well as all his other random comments that he'd been making, like to insult me, I was like, you really don't seem like the sort of person that I want to be with. And then I went to the toilet and I rang my sister and I was like, oh my God, what was she thinking? What was she thinking setting me up with this twat? And then my sister's like, well, maybe she just saw him from across the room, and because he had a good job and stuff, I think it gave him the right to like insult what I do and tell me that in 10 years time I'm not going to have a job anymore and I should start buying properties. And I was like, I'm 22 years old. And then he was like, "So what happens now?" And I was like, what do you mean what happens now? And he goes, "What happens after we finish the date? Like, do I ring you? Do you ring me?" And I was like, well, I guess we see how it goes. And then one of us will probably text if we want to see the other one, or none of us will text if we don't want to see each other again. And he was like, "Oh." And I go, "Why, have you done this before?" He goes, "Yeah, I've done this loads of times before, but no one ever rings afterwards." And I was like, oh my God, are you fucking surprised? Are you fucking surprised? And I was just like already made up in my head that I was never going to see this guy again. And I think he was trying to work out whether I liked him or not. Clearly had no interest in him. Now the looks were starting to fade. He probably might have completely not been attracted to me at all. He might have just been rude because he was trying to get me to go home. He might have thought, what an ugly munter, I don't want to see her again, let me just fucking offend her and she'll go home. And that's clearly what happened, because I was just like, I'm really, really offended, like I really don't want to see you again. So I got back, he rang the minute I got home. I literally got home and my dad goes, "How was it?" And I went, "Oh my God, shoot me now." Actually no, shoot him now. My dad was like, "Not a good date." My dad started laughing, he found it hilarious. And so then he rang and I was like, oh my God, is he ringing just to see if I got home? Or is he ringing to say that he never wants to see me again? Or is he ringing to say that he wants to see me again? So I'm just gonna not answer the phone because I'm not ready to answer any of those questions, and I will just see, hopefully, if he sends a text message. And then I sent him a text message going, "Sorry, I'm just in the cab on the way home, so I can't answer my phone," or "My reception's not good." I just made shit up, basically. And then he sent me a text message going, "Oh, it was really nice meeting you. Let's meet up again." And I was like, fuck no. So then I rang my aunt. "Hi Trisha, how was it? What did you set me up with?" And she goes, "What do you mean? He might have been okay to look at, but he was so rude." And she was like, and she just started laughing. She found it hilarious. And I was like, why are you laughing? You just set me up on a date with a complete moron. And she was like, I'm so sorry. And then I told her the story and she went, what a twat. And I was like, exactly. So did you even speak to him when you saw him? And she was like, no, I just saw him from across the room and thought he was quite cute and then thought of you. And I was like, don't ever do this again to me. Like, don't ever do that without speaking to the boy. He was really arrogant. He was really rude. He insulted, like, the fact that I didn't have properties. He insulted my career and told me I was going to be jobless in 10 years. And I really don't want to see him again. And now I'm a bit concerned that you think that we were the ideal match. And she was like, oh no, just look-wise, I thought, like, he was quite cute. And I was like, okay, let's not do this again. So that was my second date. Actually, now I think about it, it's probably like just as bad as the first one, just a completely different date. So yeah, it's not really looking good, is it? It's not really looking good. Thank you for listening, and if I can think of any other dates I had another one, but it wasn't as disastrous, I have to say. I think, okay, I'm going to tell you the story of that in another video, because it was a bit weird. Like, the whole date thing was just weird. So I'm going to tell you that one anyway, and I'll see you guys in the next video.